Fantasy is my favorite genre of fiction, and let me tell you why.
I have something to say.
Hello, my name is Charlie, and welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to talk to you about fantasy fiction and why I love it oh so much. And when I say fantasy, I am not discriminating here. I love my sword and sorcery. I love my epic fantasy. I love my wuxia. I love my techno fantasy, my science fantasy, whatever you want to call it. Fantasy in space. I love my dark fantasy. You give me a fantasy setting, I'm at least going to check it out because that's the kind of person I am. It's kind of like vampires. Give me fantasy vampires? Oh, you better bet I'm going to check that out. So, what is it about fantasy that makes it so great? Well, I'm glad that you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Fantasy is, to me, the best, most wondrous genre that has ever genred in the history of genres because it is a place where the imagination can actually run free. And I mean free, completely free. You see, one of the reasons I read fiction and watch movies and listen to music and everything else is for escapism. Now, I'm not saying escapism is the only reason to read a book, watch a movie. No, it's not the only reason. But it is a really important. Look, I have people in my family dying slowly from various diseases. I don't need to watch a movie about that, and I don't need to let you try to entertain me with that. And I can see how some people might still enjoy that content. I am not one of them. I want to read a story that's going to take me somewhere I've never been before and have an experience that I've never had before. That's what I love about fiction. It's what I love about Amistad Maupin's Tales of the City. I had, when I read it, never been to San Francisco. I will never know what it was like to be out and queer in the 70s. These were experiences that I didn't have. But thanks to this wonderful book and its delightful writing, I was able to transport myself to another place. These are the things that I look for in my fiction. I want you to take me somewhere. Give me an experience I have either never had, can't have, or would be nearly impossible for me to have. That's what I want. And that's what fantasy fiction gives me. It is not constrained by the rules of our mundane world. If people want to have wings and fly, they have wings and fly. If they want to wave their magic wands and cast spells, they do it. If they want to ride dragons, they can. And while, yes, I love the Pern books with all my heart, and they are not fantasy books at all. The dragons that exist in Pern are very much of the science variety. I still love a good book that takes me away. And again, I want to say it yet again, I don't think any genre does that, at least for me, as well as fantasy. I love learning about new places and exploring strange new worlds. And this is something that I get in abundance, from learning how a magic system works to delving into all the milieu of the world. See, milieu is one of my favorite words. It's kind of fallen out of context, but when I was a kid coming up in fandom, it's something that we actually talked a lot about. The milieu, the little bits, all of the little meta information that went into the creating of the world, all of the things that are in the world that are just amazing, and if you don't pay attention, you'll easily miss them. All of that is what makes a world worth going to for me. And yes, there are science fiction worlds that I absolutely love that are very much rooted in our real world, that don't violate the laws of our real world. And they're fine, they're wonderful, and they have my heart. But when I really get to dig into the metaphysics of a strange new land, that's where the story really takes on a new fascination for me. You see, I love how fantasy can take abstract philosophical ideas and make them manifest in a setting, make them manifest in a world, in a way that you can play around with them and enjoy them and experience them like you never could in any other genre. And of course, there are dragons. Have I mentioned the dragons? I love me a good dragon. You give me a good dragon, it's like a vampire. I'll show up. I'll at least check it out. You give me a vampire and a dragon, I am definitely checking out your story. So yeah, I want fiction to carry me away into realms of the imagination and to give me experiences that I cannot have in my regular day-to-day life. So I don't begrudge people who like simple romance stories. I have romance. I've been married for a long time and we're oddly still like in love with each other. But no, give me a shapeshifter romance story, I'm in. Give me a vampire romance story. How do you deal with love that never dies when one of the people definitely will? I'm there for it. These are the kinds of stories that just give my heart joy. And so they're the kinds of stories that I try to write so that I can bring that joy to other people as well. And that's what I love about fantasy. What do you love? What's your favorite genre? Honestly, no wrong answers unless it's ABO. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite genre of fiction is and why. You don't have to make a whole video about it, but if you do, I would love to see that too. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and hit that notification bell. It really does help out a lot because I stream twice a week on Wednesdays and Fridays. If you'd like to help me keep making both these videos and the fiction that I do, you'll find links to my Patreon and my Ko-fi down in the description box below. Thank you to everybody who does that. You all seriously are my heart. You mean the world to me. Thank you ever so much. Since the world is still a giant garbage fire and does not show any signs of getting any better, and people are starting to ignore it, let us remind ourselves of the things that really matter, that we need to be paying attention to, and doing our best to change and make better. Say it with me now. Black lives matter. Black trans lives matter. Trans identities are magic. And until next time, may you have the courage to ride your dreams into reality. And don't forget to have the fun. Bye.